Look at the heart in action. Every day, it beats 100,000 times, driving two parallel circuits, a pulmonary loop to oxygenate blood in the lungs, and a systemic loop to deliver that oxygen to the rest of the body. But there is a mechanical conflict to resolve here. Because the heart is a hollow muscle, if every chamber contracted at the exact same time, blood would be pushed against closed valves from both directions. Without a specific exit path, the internal pressure would spike without moving any blood forward. To maintain forward flow, the heart relies on a strict firing sequence. The top chambers must completely squeeze their volume of blood downward before the bottom chambers can begin their own contraction. Coordinating this sequence requires an independent, built-in electrical conduction system, a microscopic grid that choreographs every physical movement without waiting for instructions from the brain. We have been mapping this invisible electrical grid for over a century. Early machinery like this was our first window into the electrocardiogram, or ECG, which allows us to decode the heart's internal currents. A single heartbeat takes about 800 milliseconds. We are going to stretch that window into extreme slow motion to track the journey of a single electrical impulse. At this speed, it becomes clear that every peak and valley on an ECG monitor is a timeline of the physical actions required to keep us alive. The cycle begins in the upper right atrium at the sinoatrial node, a specialized cluster of cells that acts as the heart's internal timer. These cells possess a funny current, a unique ion flow allowing them to spontaneously accumulate positive charge until reaching a threshold spike. Watch the dual view. As this spark spreads across both upper chambers, it traces the first ECG bump, the P wave. This electrical wave causes the atrial muscles to physically contract, squeezing their volume of blood down into the resting lower chambers. While this spark sets the cycle in motion, its rapid spread now threatens to trigger the massive lower chambers much too early, before they have finished filling. To prevent an early misfire, the signal must pass through the atrioventricular node. This is the only electrical bridge between the top of the heart and the bottom. Evolution engineered a bottleneck here. The cells in this node have far fewer gap junctions, creating a high-resistance path that drops conduction velocity to a crawl. On the monitor, this electrical crawl appears as the flat, quiet PR segment. This delay lasts only about 150 milliseconds, but it ensures the lower chambers stay relaxed until the atria have fully emptied their blood into the main pump. Once the signal clears the bottleneck, it rockets down the central septum and wraps around the outer walls through a high-speed network called Purkinje fibers. These fibers conduct electricity 150 times faster than the node we just left. This acceleration produces the tall, sharp QRS complex on the ECG. The mechanical response is instantaneous. The thick lower walls contract, causing a sudden, massive spike in internal fluid pressure. That rising pressure slams the upper valves shut to prevent backflow, generating the distinct lub sound of a heartbeat. The pressure eventually forces the outflow valves open, sending high-velocity jets of blood to the body and lungs. This coordinated squeeze is the mechanical goal of the heart's entire electrical highway. Before it can pump again, the ventricular muscle must undergo electrical repolarization to reset its cells for the next beat. This wave of electrical recovery creates the final T wave on the ECG timeline. As the muscle relaxes, backward flowing blood catches the outflow valves and snaps them shut, creating the dub sound. This quiet period allows the empty chambers to passively refill, priming the system for the next cycle. Returning to real-time speed shows exactly how all of these distinct phases blend together into a seamless, continuous rhythm. The lub-dub in a stethoscope, the peaks of an ECG monitor, and the rushing of our blood all originate from the same source. These are the acoustic and fluid reactions to the electrical timing we've just tracked. By combining high-speed highways with deliberate cellular bottlenecks, this millisecond symphony ensures the human body receives the volume of oxygen it needs to survive, one beat at a time.